Hey guys, Robert Maxwell with the Man Factory, and in this video I want to tell you a bit about why I recently decided to switch to the low bar squat versus the high bar variation of the barbell squat that I had previously been doing. In order for this video to make sense, you first need to understand what exactly the differences are between high bar and low bar squat, and I can explain that to you pretty easily. As the name would imply, the bar is higher up on your back during the high bar squat, generally positioned at the base of the neck on top of the traps. And this results in a steeper torso angle as you're squatting, because keeping the bar in line with your center over the middle of your foot demands that your torso be closer to vertical when the bar is in the high bar position. The low bar squat, on the other hand, as the name implies, involves placing the barbell lower on your back. The generally accepted position is balancing the bar on a shelf created by your rear deltoid muscles as you contract your upper back. This involves leaning forward more, bending over at the hips as you squat down and come back up, because again, keeping the bar in line with the middle of your foot for the entire movement involves leaning over more to maintain that balance. Those are the basic differences between the high bar and the low bar squat. Now for the main reason for this video, explaining to you why I decided to switch from high bar to low bar style squatting after doing the high bar almost exclusively for many years. The short answer is that I'm just a whole lot stronger squatting low bar. Since I've made the switch, I've added close to 100 pounds to most of my rep PRs as well as my 1 rep max. The reason for this, and also how you can evaluate if making a similar change will help increase your squatting strength, boils down to how I happen to be built. One of the things that makes it harder for a guy of my particular build to get seriously strong in the squat compared to guys who are built differently is that I have fairly long femurs in relation to the length of other body parts. This means that in order to keep the bar moving in a straight vertical line centered over the middle of my foot, as is most efficient during the squat, I've got to lean over a fair amount even when the bar is in the high bar position to keep the bar where it should be. The length of my femurs makes this necessary. If my femurs were shorter, I'd have to lean forward less to get the bar, which is on top of my back, in line with the middle of my feet, and my torso would be more vertical. And anyone who knows about the high bar style squat knows that the more vertical you can keep your torso, the more efficient and stronger you'll be at that version of the movement. On the other hand, having to lean forward more during the high bar style squat because of long femurs means that the shear force the bar exerts on your back will be greater. So having to lean forward for mechanical reasons causes you to lean forward even more involuntarily when the weight starts to get heavy. That's what I was running into with my high bar squat. Whenever I pushed for maximal reps or maximal weight, my form started to break down. I started to lean forward too far for a high bar style squat, and the bar began to lurch out of that straight vertical path over the middle of my foot. You might not think that shifting the bar 3 inches or so down my back would make such a difference with this problem, but it really did. And the reason comes down to biomechanics. I can now make use of my hips far more than I was able to with the high bar style squat because I'm leaning over more by definition. Whereas leaning over more during the high bar squat was bad. It's actually what I want in the low bar style squat. The lower position of the bar on my back also means that the shear force of the weight pushing me down from the torso is greatly reduced. The bottom line is low bar squatting fits my body composition better, and it allows me to move more weight, like I said, because of that improved position given my particular biomechanics, and given the fact that I can use more muscles to move the bar when low bar squatting. It involves a lot more hip and posterior chain compared to the high bar squat. This certainly doesn't apply to everyone. As I said earlier in the video, everyone's built differently, and for some lifters, the high bar squat makes more sense given their biomechanics. My brother Joseph, for instance, has shorter femurs in relation to the rest of his body, and the high bar squat makes a whole lot more sense for him than it does for me. But this video is just going over, once again, the reasons why I have switched to the low bar style squat and the benefits that's given me. I hope you found this interesting and helpful, and I'll see you next time.